Hello friends, welcome to your EVS class. Today we're going to talk about the chapter What If It Finishes? This chapter is chapter 12 in your books, Looking Around. So let's begin the class. But before we do that, let's discuss some class objectives we have for this lesson. The first thing that we will be able to learn is about oil and petroleum as a non-renewable resource, as a non-renewable natural resource. We will then be able to develop a conservation mindset. That is, we will be able to think about how to conserve this non-renewable natural resource. And lastly, we will discuss the alternatives to oil and petroleum. So take a minute to read our class objectives and all the things that we will be able to learn today. And with that, I welcome you all to today's EVS lesson. The question we will be answering is, what if it finishes? Now let's begin our chapter by observing this picture collage you can see on the screen. What do you see in this collage? Because I see a lot of vehicles on the road. I also see a man in a blue uniform. I also see a stoplight with red, yellow and green lights. I see many different types of vehicles. I see cycles, I see buses, I see auto rickshaws, I see scooters, I see cars, I see trucks. Another very interesting thing that I see in this picture collage are these black little things that are all around. I can see sort of like smoke. I can see pollution in the air. So these are the things that I can observe on the street. This is what happened when a group of people from a school, that is a group of students from school, went on a picnic and got caught in traffic. They observed the street and they saw many different types of vehicles. So come on children, let's try and remember the types of vehicles we saw in the collage. What are the types of vehicles that you see on the street? The first type of vehicles I see are two-wheelers. Two-wheelers, that means vehicles that have two wheels, like bicycles, motorcycles, scooters, bullock carts, etc. Then I know that there are three-wheelers. Three-wheelers like auto rickshaws. And then the most important and dominant type of vehicles on the street are those that have more than three wheels. So, what are they? They are cars, buses, trucks, ambulances, etc. These are the vehicles that are constantly moving on the street. They emit a lot of smoke as well. When they honk, a lot of sound comes, a lot of noise is created. Sometimes when we get stuck in traffic and we are surrounded by these vehicles, we may even feel a little suffocated. But these are what the streets look like these days, with lots of vehicles, cars, buses, auto rickshaws, cycles, scooters, etc. The students from the school also observed these different types of vehicles on the street. But as they were observing, they realized that their bus had entered into a petrol pump. Now, do we all know what a petrol pump looks like? Just like in the picture here, we can see that in the petrol pump there are different tanks that fill petrols, and there is always a person who helps us fill the petrol. Two children are very curious about petrol. They're very curious about the name Indian Oil, and they have a lot of questions to ask the petrol person, the person who is there to fill the petrol. So they go to him and say, "Hey uncle, we have some questions about petrol and oil for you. Will you answer them?" The person says, "All right, I'll answer your question." And this is how their conversation goes. Abraham is curious and therefore he asks, Uncle, from where do we get petrol and diesel? Uncle, who has been working at the petrol pump for a very long time, says from deep, deep down under the ground. Manju is also very curious and so she asks, but how does it get made there? She wants to know how petrol gets made under the ground. Uncle, it is formed naturally, but very slowly. It is not made by a human being or a machine. Uncle informs them that petrol is formed naturally. It is not made by a human being or a machine. Abraham then asks very innocently, then we don't need to buy it. We can take it out ourselves using a bore well like we pump out water. Now, Uncle tells Abraham that petrol is not just found everywhere. There are very special places on earth. There are very special places in the country where petrol can be found. So children, let's first discuss how petrol is made. It is like a treasure from the earth. It is not easy to find out where oil is, deep down below the earth. Scientists use special techniques and machines to find this out. Then through pipes and machines, petroleum is pumped. This oil is a smelly, thick, dark-colored liquid. It contains many things mixed in it. To clean and separate these, it is sent to a refinery. Have you ever heard of a refinery? So, what we're being told is that it is very difficult to actually extract petroleum. It needs to go through multiple scientific procedures and there are many machines involved. It is a very difficult task to extract petroleum from the ground. First, oil is extracted and then petroleum is made out of it. So, is it from this petroleum or oil that we get kerosene, diesel, petrol, engine, oil, and fuel for aircrafts? Do you know that LPG, cooking gas, wax, coal tar, grease are also obtained from this? It is also used in making several other things like plastic and paints. Now, we're also being told that this petrol, this oil that exists deep down below the earth and that is found in very special places is helped to create so many different types of things that we use every day and cannot imagine our life without. It truly is a treasure from deep down in the earth. So now if it truly is a treasure that comes from deep down in the earth, where do you think we can find it in India? And also, can we live without it? What if it finishes? That is the question. Since it is used in so many things that we use every day in our lives, can we live without this petroleum? Can we live without this oil? This indeed is the question that was on both Abraham and Manju's mind. In our next class, we will discuss in detail the question of petroleum finishing and if we can ever replace it. We will also talk about developing a conservation mindset for petrol and oil.